Good Wednesday, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Conversation Daily News. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. We, of course, have your news headlines coming up on this hump day. We have the Truth of the Day with Mary Ellen Ciganovich, and in today's Entertainment Spotlight, you've been part of my conversation with author RV Minkler discussing his new book, The Redeemed. Enjoy today's broadcast. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with your Wednesday headlines. In international news, Zelensky at the UN accuses Russian military of war crimes. Ukrainian President Zelensky accused the Russians of gruesome atrocities in Ukraine and told the UN Security Council on Tuesday that those responsible should immediately be brought up on war crimes charges in front of a tribunal like the one set up after World War II. Zelensky, appearing via video from Ukraine, said that civilians had been shot in the back of the head after being tortured, blown up with grenades in their apartments, and crushed to death by tanks while in cars. They cut off limbs, cut their throats. Women were raped and killed in front of their children. Their tongues were pulled out only because their aggressor did not hear what they wanted to hear from them. Over the past few days, grisly images of what appeared to be civilian massacres carried out by Russian forces on the outskirts of Kyiv before they were pulled back from the capital have stirred global revulsion and led Western nations to expel dozens of Moscow's diplomats and propose further sanctions, including a ban on coal imports from Russia. Zelensky said that both those who carried out the killings and those who gave the orders must be brought to justice immediately for war crimes in front of a tribunal similar to what was used in post-war Germany. Reiterating what the Kremlin has been saying for days, Moscow's UN ambassador denied Russian troops targeted civilians and said the horrors depicted had been staged by the Ukrainians. You only saw what they showed you, Moscow's UN ambassador said. The Associated Press journalists in the town have counted dozens of corpses in civilian clothes and interviewed Ukrainians who told of witnessing atrocities. Also, high-resolution satellite imagery showed that many of the bodies had been laying in the open for weeks during the time that Russian forces were in town. Zelensky stressed that Bucha was only one place and that there are more with similar horrors, a warning echoed by the NATO Secretary General. When and if they withdraw their troops and Ukrainian troops take over, I'm afraid they will see more mass graves, more atrocities, and more examples of war crimes, Zelensky said. Ukrainian officials said the bodies of at least 410 civilians have been found in towns around Kyiv that were recaptured from Russian forces and that a torture chamber was discovered in Bucha. Zelensky told the Security Council there was not a single crime that Russian troops hadn't committed in Bucha, and he likened their actions to those of the Islamic State. In national news, Amazon's first U.S. union overcomes hurdles, faces new ones. When a scrappy group of former and current warehouse workers on Staten Island, New York, went head-to-head with Amazon in the union election, many compared it to a David and Goliath battle. David won, and a stunning upset on Friday of last week brought sudden exposure to the organizers and worker advocates who realized victory for the nascent Amazon labor union when so many more others established labor groups had failed before them, including most recently in Alabama. Initial results in that election showed the retail, wholesale, and department store union down by 118 votes, with the majority of Amazon warehouse workers in Alabama rejecting a bid to form a union. The final outcome is still up in the air, with 416 outstanding challenge ballots hanging in the balance. A hearing to review the ballots is expected to begin in the coming weeks. In more national news, White House to extend student loan pause through August. The Biden administration plans to freeze federal student loan payments through August 31st, extending a moratorium that has allowed millions of Americans to postpone payments during the coronavirus pandemic, according to an administration official familiar with the White House's decision-making. Student loan payments were scheduled to resume May 1st after being halted since early in the pandemic, but following calls from Democrats in Congress, the White House plans to give borrowers additional time to prepare for payments. The action applies to more than 43 million Americans who owe a combined $1.6 trillion in student debt held by the federal government, according to the latest data from the Education Department. That includes more than 7 million borrowers who have defaulted on student loans, meaning they were at least 270 days late on their payments. In more national news, Murkowski and Romney back Jackson, all but assure confirmation. Republican Senators Lisa Murkowski and Mitt Romney say they will vote to confirm Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson's historic elevation to the Supreme Court, giving President Joe Biden's nominee a burst of bipartisan support and all but assuring she'll become the first black female justice. The senators from Alaska and Utah announced the decisions Monday night ahead of a procedural vote to advance the nomination, and as Democrats press to confirm Jackson by the end of this week. And finally, in sports, Tiger Woods says he's planning to play the Masters. Tiger Woods says, for now anyway, he's planning to play this week in the Masters a little more than a year after nearly losing a leg in a car crash. The five-time champion at Augusta National made the announcement Tuesday. He will play 9 more practice holes on today before making a final decision, but will be doing so with the intention of playing on Thursday. Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. It's our time for the Truth of the Day with Mary Ellen Ciganovich. Mary Ellen, take it away.
Hi, this is Mary Ellen with your Truth of the Day. Open your mind to see all your endless opportunities. Do not allow fear or anything else to limit you. Open your mind to the endless possibilities right in front of you. If you are not sure where to start, ask yourself, what do I enjoy doing, learning, reading, or studying? Become hungry for knowledge. Explore your world with a fresh perspective. Feel progress as you open your mind to investigate unfamiliar belief systems, ideologies, or other philosophies. Wisdom does not exist in a vacuum, and neither do your possibilities for success. As you open your mind to the many possibilities that exist, your limiting barriers break down. This allows new opportunities to flow into your life. Today, accept the fact you have a lot more to learn as you make highly informed choices to expand your awareness of your opportunities as you enjoy the day.
We are part of my conversation coming up with author RV Minkler in today's Entertainment Spotlight. Stay with us, you're listening to Conversation Daily News. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with the Entertainment Spotlight. Author RV Minkler joined me on Conversations Live, the radio show, to discuss his new book, The Redeemed. Here's a bit of our conversation. First of all, congratulations to you on The Redeemed. What has it been like for you to see the way that people are responding to the book?
Well, it's been very encouraging, that's for sure. This is a story that started, 36 years ago with a dream. That was so vivid I had to tell it to my children. In fact, my 9-year-old son at the time drew a picture of one of the scenes in the book, which I kept. And it was amusing to go back and look at that. But the dream just kind of took hold, and I couldn't release it. It just kept nagging at me, and I started finally writing it about 2 years after I first got the dream. And then life intervened, and I put it aside. And
what I think is so interesting is the motivation behind those choices and how it kind of puts them either in the category that would be looked at as good or the category that would be looked at as evil. What was that like for you to be able to play with the idea and the consequences of choices?
Well, for me personally, it was life experience. I have made both sorts of choices. I've made poor choices and I've made good choices. I have 20/20 hindsight now, but I can look back and say, oh, I shouldn't have made that choice, or I made a choice that really has improved my life ever since. So I tried to capture that kind of, in a sense, each character has a piece of me in them.
Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. We thank you all for tuning in to this edition of Conversations Daily News. Prepare to get on tomorrow with more news, Truth of the Day with Mary Ellen Ciganovich, and of course your Entertainment Spotlight. Until then, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Daily News today. Let's make today amazing. Take care.